Here, I want to go screaming near us. That's nice. This is really nice. We're just cruising.
That's a lot fast. How fast does it say it's going?
27 meters a second. I mean, it's really booking it. And most of my flight today, this whole flight, is probably going to be in this flight mode. Man, this is beautiful. Truly cinematic. The props are out of the shot. I'm booking it. Yeah, that beeping now, that has got to be collision detection. That's what it is.
Of what?
The ground. There we go. Yeah, it's way faster.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it looks close and stuff, but it's not.
Very.
Crazy pretty. Earlier, my wife Abby got to maiden the brand new DJI FPV, and today it's my turn to do a maiden flight on this drone. I have a bit of experience flying drones. We've flown over 1,000 drones on our YouTube channel, a handful of which are FPV race drone style of things. And this is a little bit of a controversial drone, I think. You know, the big thing, and I want to hear from you guys in the comments below, as far as the naming convention goes of DJI FPV, does that or does that not mean to you that all of their drones are FPV? I feel like the name just dropped out of nowhere. They should call this the DJI FPV Dragon or something cool like that, right? Some people say, no, not all their drones are FPV. I ask you to look up what FPV means. First person view. So I think the naming convention of this thing's a little goofy, but also we have our hardcore, die-hard FPV freestyle race drone guys. All of you I'm very envious of because I cannot build my own drone. I cannot program my own drone without help. And so I am very envious of all of you. But here we have an option now for someone that's like me. I'm a dreamer. I love flying them, but I just cannot build them myself. And so this is a pretty good option, I think, for somebody like myself. It has some downsides though. It's very fragile. And one of those things that we're afraid to damage is the battery. However, I did learn something today that I like about the battery. That is the fact that I complained that it didn't just plug in when you slid it into place and snapped into place. While traveling, after I have this at a full charge from the house to the flying location, I like that I can snap it in place because it's the back two legs of the drone and I don't have to plug it in. So that's kind of a cool thing. We're gonna fly, have some fun. I'm only gonna fly beginner mode or normal mode and sport mode today because I didn't go through all those training steps to unlock the advanced mode. So today I'm just gonna see what I can do with this and get my first impressions on flying. It should be fun. I have no wind. I'm very excited. Let's fly. So the one thing that I, as a glasses wearer, dislike about these goggles is that it just barely fits over my glasses, and you have to wear your glasses in order to see the screen. I'm actually nearsighted, which makes very little sense. You would think that if you hold a TV screen close to you, you should be able to see the focus of it. That's not how it works. It's never made sense to my brain. I just can't wrap my mind around it. So I really have to wedge my glasses in there and then put these goggles over them. And I have very small frames. So if you wear glasses, you'll probably be very disappointed to know that they didn't make them wide enough for most of us that wear glasses. It's a very tight fit for me. I think I should be able to, let's see. Okay, I'm recording now and I'm in normal mode. I think it's time just to take off. And I'm gonna throttle up.
You're gone.
Yeah. So I'm just letting it hover for a second so I can get a feel for the simple controls in normal mode. I want to go a bit higher. You know what? We didn't change the measurement settings. That's something that I wanted to do, but we just kind of forgot. So I'm going to fly this in normal mode for just a minute to get a feel for it. I did learn that the props should go out of our shot when I fly a bit faster. So as of right now, I'm flying as fast as I can in normal mode, but it'll fly, when it flies faster, the props should be out of the shot. So this is very easy to fly in normal mode. It truly flies like, you know, Mavic or anything that's just very assisted. One of these days we're going to record what the goggles see too, if you haven't already seen it yet. I do love that H point like you were saying. It's really neat. extremely easy to fly. Man, it's been a while since I've flown an FPV drone, and it feels weird not being in the FPV community sometimes is a little bit harsh. I said air mode, and someone said that's not a flight mode or something, whatever. I just want to have fun. Don't bring people down for having fun. But I'm used to flying in acro or air mode, however you say it, and to hold up the whole time I want to fly forward is really weird, you know? And then my left throttle stick to be spring loaded to go to center is also weird. Okay, so for me, that's enough of this normal flight mode. And that's kind of funny because, you know, although it's a very, very beautiful view and stuff, I think that's kind of how most of the true hobbyist feels about this flight mode. Okay, let's see.
Yep.
This side, left side. We're in sport mode. Obstacle avoidance unavailable. Obstacle avoidance, excuse me. So now we should just be able to fly much faster.
Sounds faster.
Yeah, and I think our angle of attack is a bit steeper. Like, you know, I can actually angle sharper. Yeah, it's faster. So it tells me that I'm flying at 27 meters per second, which is quite a bit faster than the other flight mode. Way faster. I think that you would benefit this flight mode big time to chase airplanes, which is why we got this, you guys. I mean, if you haven't been able to, you know, guess that, we got this to chase airplanes with. And so I think, Abby, you could easily chase an airplane in this flight mode. It's ridiculously fast. Here, I want to go screaming near us. That's nice. This is really nice. We're just cruising.
That's a lot fast. How fast does it say it's going?
27 meters a second. I mean, it's really booking it. And most of my flight today, this whole flight, is probably going to be in this flight mode. Man, this is beautiful. Truly cinematic. The props are out of the shot. The beeping you're hearing, I'm not getting any visual warnings on my goggles, so I would assume that's collision detection. I thought well, not, you know, just telling you, hey, there's ground close to you. I'm flying a little lower than you were too, I think.
You're just like grazing the tree line up there.
Okay.
Like, that's how high you are to me.
I'm booking it. Yeah, that beeping now, that has got to be collision detection. That's what it is.
Of what?
The ground. There we go. Yeah, it's way faster. Watch.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, it looks close and stuff, but it's not.
Very.
Crazy pretty, crazy pretty. You know what? I'm glad I got this stool out because something about this
Told you you need to sit down.
Yeah, it feels different to me. Like when I'm flying a traditional quadcopter, what I would refer to as a race drone that either I built, was bind and fly, a friend built for me or something. I don't feel like I get dizzy when I'm flying it, but for some reason when I'm watching the world through these goggles, I feel slightly seasick. Maybe I just got to get used to it again, or sit differently, or maybe I'm just that used to standing. It is fast, it is fun, and it's very easy to fly. So the oh crap button, I think is it back here on the left side? I want to try that.
It's that big button right there.
This one here?
Yeah.
I want to see if it does anything in sport mode. That's one thing I wanted to test. Also the camera stuff. I want to talk about that here in a second, but I'm just gonna hit it like, I can just take my hands off the controls and it's fine if I just let my hands off the sticks. But here we go. I'm just gonna hit it right near us. Even,
oh my gosh, it like tilted.
That was intense.
Backwards.
That was intense. So I was even holding the stick forward when I hit that. That was like true air brakes. I want to do that again. I'm going to do it coming toward us, you know, just from this other direction.
I'll try to film it.
I'll give you an opportunity to possibly film it. So really close to us, I'm going to hit it, okay? I don't encourage you guys to do this, but you know, I want to test it. Are you ready?
Yep.
And go.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was really intense. I'm impressed.
Still didn't film it very well.
That's okay. You want to do one more?
Sure.
We'll get it coming in from the other way. Which way do you think is better to film?
Either way.
Okay. So I just want to pick up speed. That's why I came all the way down here. There's a little tiny pond right Here we go. I'm at 27 meters a second, really quick, and 3, 2, 1.
Oh my gosh, you're going by so fast. I just don't even stand a chance.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's really impressive to me. My drone battery is at, I think, 37%. My goggles are at 70%. We haven't charged them since Abby's flight, and that was intentional. I want to see how many flights we can get out of this. And I've flown 90% of this flight in the sport mode, whereas Abby flew in normal mode, or like beginner mode, and she got a 13-minute flight, but she was pretty, oh, that was a close tree there. And I want to see what the flight time is, just, you know, cooking it, just cruising around.
You're cooking it.
Yeah. I would expect about a 5 to 6 minute flight on this, but you know what? Actually, my record time is at 7 minutes. Battery life is at 29%.
Oh, wow.
What?
You're just going down fast.
Oh yeah, I'm getting half the flight time that you will get. This is beautiful though.
$140 a battery.
Low battery, return home in 8 seconds.
Wow.
I'm just gonna bring it home. Now how do I press the stop button to cancel? So I think that's back here.
Are you just gonna do it yourself?
Yeah, I want to. Press brake button to cancel, return to home.
Okay, you were like going down out there. I was like, no.
Low battery, return to home, it's telling me. 23%, now you can, I'm sure, adjust that. But what I want to do is a full manual landing. I don't want to do return to home because that's what Abby did. I see the helipad. Let's see, normal mode, back up to here. And I just want to land. See, here's what I hated about my race drones, landing them. So now I know I'm hands-free, I'm hovering, I'm taking my goggles off, I'm blinded by the sun, and now I can look up line of sight. Abby doesn't have to be my spotter anymore, and I can just bring it in and land it line of sight, which is, if not for the sun, very easy to do. Wonderful. That's wonderful. I'm not disappointed in the least. There's nothing disappointing about that flight at all, to me, in my opinion. And remember, we have flown over 1,000 drones. That's a unique flying experience. It is not a race drone. It is far from an actual hobbyist-built race drone. And I have the utmost respect for the person that builds that race drone, or a freestyle drone, and you know, just for the general hobbyist or professional racer. That's not what this is, but it is, like Abby said in her maiden flight, DJI's version of a race drone. And I made a little kind of a little joke at the beginning of the video. DJI FPV, I think it is a horrible name, because that's like saying their very next drone they should name the DJI drone. It's just it's like they trademarked a general term, but it's really weird. It's stupid. It just frustrates me because FPV just means first person view. Call of Duty is an FPV shooter, you know, it's an FPS, first person shooter, but it isn't a first person view. And all these drones and things, the Mavic is from an FPV perspective. It's a first person view. It's like you're sitting there. You don't have to wear goggles. It doesn't have to go a certain speed for it to be FPV. Abby and I reviewed a little RC car a couple weeks ago that was an FPV car. It's $30. There's a little camera on the car that gives a live feedback to your phone. That's an FPV car. Like it or hate it, that's how it is. That is fact. So other than that, little quips like that we're getting hung up on, and the fact that this drone is now providing change in the industry, because let's face it, none of us like change, right? When you're the person that took the time to build your own quadcopter and you soldered it and then you sat through hundreds of hours to learn how to program that sucker, and you programmed your own race drone on Betaflight, and then you finally got out there to fly it and it just flipped right over for some reason. Your prop was on backwards, that's why. We've all done it, right? And you had to go through those hours and hours. There are geese skimming the grass. It looks so cool. You had to go through those hundreds of hours of learning how to fly and program and make your drone. Then DJI comes out with this thing that just makes it easy for any loser to get their hands on and fly it.
It makes you mad. Call yourself a loser?
Sure. Yeah, of course. A loser. Yeah, sometimes I am. you know, it's frustrating. It's like the airplane world when guys learn to fly their gassers on toothpicks wrapped with tape, and then they came out with these foam things that you slap together in 2 minutes, and it has this safe technology that doesn't let it flip upside down. And you got these 5-year-old kids out there flying better than you did when you were 30, and now you're 60, and you know, you're good at it. But it's kind of like that, isn't it? We don't like seeing things get easier for new people coming into the hobby. It's hard to admit that, but I think that's why a lot of us are mad about this. I embrace it. I'm embracing this. This is super fun. I think this is really cool. Now that I'm getting my hands on it and flying it, the experience of what I'm seeing and how fast it's going and stuff is like no other, and good on you, DJI, for that. Yeah, there are some major issues with this drone. It's fragile. You don't want to wreck it, because if you wreck it, it's not modular yet, like I'm hoping it will be. I want it to be to a point where if I wreck it and I crash it and I break an arm, I can unbolt the arm. Even if it's a $200 arm, it's still cheaper than the drone, right? I hope it's not that. Considering the battery's
let's hope it's only $200.
Oh, I know. A battery's $140, so a whole arm's got to be like $5,000. But you know, that's what I'd like it to be at, because nobody wants to ship their drone off to DJI and wait for 3 months for it to come back and pay them a couple $100. Nobody wants that. So you got to have 2 or 3 of these. If this is your only drone that you're flying, FPV, you got to have a handful of them, so when you inevitably crash, because we all will, you've got to then ship it off to DJI currently.
But you can't buy just the drone, so
I know.
that would be
currently it's an awful setup. But if you've got it in hands and you're here to fly it, the flight experience is unique. The adrenaline is there, you know, of a certain style of adrenaline. It's there. It's a beautiful cinematic type of adrenaline. You guys saw the flight. That's amazing. So, you know, for that, they're hitting the nail on the head. But for the true hobbyist, I'm sorry, guys. You know, this is going to get more people in the hobby, and it's not representing the hobby the way you know it and like it. One quick thing that I learned, Abby, is there is a setting, and I think it's defaulted to. We'll test this on our next flight. When you take off, it automatically starts recording.
Oh, that's cool.
So we need to test that on the next one,
okay.
You know, firsthand, which I think is really awesome. But the thing to take from this video, everybody watching this video, if you buy this or something like this, you really need to have something called AMA. It is a company by the name of the Academy of Model Aeronautics. I've been flying things my entire life, and I have had AMA my entire life. I'd never fly anything so much as a paper airplane without having them. Why? They're an insurance. This thing was booking. It's fast, and it's not lightweight. If that hit a person, a car, a building, someone's property, you did some damage, God forbid, it's gonna leave a mark. And the Academy of Model Aeronautics is there to step in when that happens. So I wouldn't take off anything, airplanes, drones of any size, weight, or whatever, without AMA. And I highly encourage you guys not just look into it, but get it and fly by their guidelines. Just do it. And as everybody should be saying this, Abby said it, I'm going to say it, some other YouTubers, thank goodness, are saying it. This should not be your first drone, okay? Don't let this be your first drone. There are cheap drones that cost $15 or $20 you can learn the basics on. I highly recommend you do that too. So having said those safety boring things, you know, this is awesome, and I'm excited to make Abby's next flight sport mode, because you've got to try it. That was fun. You're going to like that way more than normal mode. And my next flight, I really hope, is the advanced mode, whatever that is. Acro mode.
Manual mode. Manual,
thank you. So I think you have to like jump through a couple hoops before you can activate that. That's the only reason I didn't do that today. I think I feel comfortable enough to do that.
We only have one battery, so we have to take the whole battery to do that.
Go home,
you wanted to fly it so
charge
bad.
it. And the final thing I'm disappointed in that I wasn't expecting is that you have to plug your phone into it, at least for the initial setup. Surprisingly, you don't have to plug your phone in at all when you come out to the flying field and you want to fly. So that's really nice, at least in these 2 flight modes. So that's, you know, whatever. This will all be linked in the description box below, and if you guys want to support us and our family, our patrons bought this for us so we could provide you with extremely transparent feedback on this drone. There are thousands of people that got this thing for free That's fine, that's fine. We get a lot of stuff for free too, but not this. So if you want to help us make up for it and get the money back and you plan on buying this thing, you can use our link. It's there on Amazon. We actually prefer to buy this on Amazon. We bought ours on Amazon because we've had issues with DJI actually like getting our credit card info really messed up. So we'll not buy directly from DJI ever. Amazon, that's where we've got it linked. So if you want to support us and our family, we have it linked in the description box below. For this amazing flight, Abby and I both got to fly it today, and really, we both smiled. Like, she smiled a lot flying it, I smiled a lot flying it. It was a really good experience on this
sunset.
Beautiful day. We thank God for that. Thank you. Very cool. Giving us this beautiful day. Thank you, thank you. We also say the biggest thanks ever to our Patreon supporters, because we are not kidding when we say this one was all on you guys. We'll have Abby's flight video, her maiden flight, which is very exciting. She's the very first person to fly this drone, which usually doesn't happen. If it's something that flies, most of the time I maiden it. So it's really cool that she got to get her hands on this before me. And if you want to see her flight experience, which is more of like a lower intermediate level, I think, of flying drones around there, that perspective is a very good one before you click buy. So if you want to hear her opinion and perspective, that video is popping up right about now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you there.
Bye!